Hey guys, welcome back to Weeb 101 for our next episode, and this time we're in for a treat. Sid, what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about Death Note, the legendary introductory manga for like every weeb ever. Everyone starts with Death Note. Am I right?
Exactly, everyone starts with Death Note, and Audi has watched it as well.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Audi did not listen to us and he did not read the manga fully, which we will quickly just gloss over. But we shall try our best to confuse Audi throughout this entire series. Do not worry. Let's start with Audi. Audi, Death
Yeah.
Note. When did you watch it?
I think I would have watched it. I think that was one of the first. That was probably the first anime that I would have watched. I think that was around 6 years back, easily.
6 years back?
Hmm.
We're in 2020, so 2014.
2014. Yeah.
My God, that was a long time ago. So is it safe to assume that you don't remember much?
I don't remember much of the small details, yes, but I'll try my best.
Ah, and this is how this podcast's quality goes down. Sid, when did you
Yep.
watch Death Note?
I first watched Death Note in 2011 because you introduced me to it when we were in Japanese class.
Really, I did that? I
Yeah, we
introduced
were
you to
in
Death Note?
Japanese class. We were talking about Naruto, I think, and then you were telling me about like before you told me about One Piece, you told me about Death Note. You're like, oh, if you like this, you should check out Death Note. It's amazing. And then I remember, I'm like, okay, cool, let's check it out. I went home and I downloaded and like binged the whole series. Like the whole night, I stayed up and binged the whole thing.
Guys,
And
did
like
you
there
hear
was an
that? Did everyone hear that? Sid knows good anime because of me. I am the true weeb
uh,
over here. Sid, I shall forever hold this over your head. But I mean,
it's
that
your fault.
makes sense because I watched Death Note in 2008 when I'd gone to my friend's house and he introduced me to it. And at
Hmm.
first I was like, this doesn't really sound interesting. And he's like, you know what? We'll watch the first three episodes. And if you don't like it, we'll watch anything you want. And we just watched it 3 nights in a row. We just watched it and we finished off the whole thing. It's also the
Damn.
same friend who introduced me to Dota, by the way.
Ah.
But
Oh, I see.
it was a very long time ago. And I think I've seen it like 5 times since and read it multiple times as well.
Yeah, I think when we first met in college, you were just going on when we had, I think, bonded over our first likes and dislikes. The first thing you told me was Death Note, and I had never heard about this before. And you just told me like if you want to get into anime, Death Note is the way to go. And I think other friends also chimed in because they had also seen Death Note.
Who? Nobody, none of our friends saw Death Note. None of our friends saw anime at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Ah, interesting. Then yeah, then it was
Only our
only you.
lives were
Hmm.
going downhill. No one
Yeah.
else.
But yeah, so I'm the Weeb God over here. Please, this shall
Yes.
be noted. From this episode onwards, you shall refer to me as Weeb God.
Hmm.
So, Adi,
Temporarily.
what do you like about Death Note? What is it that pulls you together? And if you say story like last time, I will edit your entire audio out.
Uh, well, I, I don't know. To begin with, obviously, I'd say story, but now you already covered that base.
There he goes.
But there were a lot of twists. There were a lot of twists and turns, and we were getting really into the main character's life. And as we were getting into his story, we were just we were slowly unraveling the whole reason why he wanted to use the Death Note, and it was the clash between Yagami Light and the main villain L that kind of kept me hooked onto the whole series.
He just called L a
And
villain. I don't know what to say.
huh?
He
I
just
know,
called
right?
L a villain. I don't know what to say.
Have you even watched the series, dude?
This is
Uh,
forgive us, people who watch this who already seen Death Note.
Yeah. Weeb
He's
101 is
he's
about Audi being a noob weeb and we are educating him in all this deep culture.
yeah,
So
nice.
have patience. Audi shall
but
grow.
this is an interesting point. Audi, why do you think L was the villain and not Light?
Well, I'm pretty sure anyone who had seen the show for the first time would have assumed that
Spoilers
Yagami.
ahead, by the way. I'm just putting it out right away. We forget to
Yeah.
do this every single time, so there are going to be spoilers from this point onwards. Please keep that in mind as you hear on. Yeah, Audi, why do you think L is the villain?
Well, obviously, anyone who's seen the show for the first time, they're going to see Yagami Light for a good amount of the time, and they're going to relate to that character a lot more. And I think that's my first memory of the show is that I sided with Yagami Light through and through, and plus we got to see him a lot more until we learned more about L. So that's why I see him in the more protagonist light and not the antagonist light.
Well, so you're saying you can relate to Light, huh? You want to kill people off. Not surprising.
Uh, I wouldn't say that, but then hasn't anyone ever wanted to kill someone?
No,
Oh,
not me.
you
I'm an
shouldn't.
innocent
Really?
angel.
Hmm?
Yeah.
You're the only weird one here, already. We don't want to kill anybody. You do.
Ah, okay.
But
I
anyway,
see.
but even after the introduction of L, didn't you feel like he was the one you should focus on rather than Light?
I felt like the focus was shifting every time we saw the character, and there was a good balance between the two. Like I obviously the focus stuck on through Yagami Light, but then every time else showed up, it always captivated me, and I don't know. Like towards the end, I still was on Yagami Light's side.
I see.
But then, hmm.
Well, that was the most detailed answer we've gotten from Audi yet. Sid, why do you like Death Note?
Uh, so the thing is, so Light actually starts. The thing is, Light actually starts playing God later on. You know, he actually ascends to the level where he is pretending to be God and killing off people that
Yeah,
he he doesn't deem worthy enough to live.
that's true. Yeah,
So he goes from this stage of he goes from this, I don't know if good or bad, but I think he overdoes it, he overindulges into this habit and
yeah,
goes crazy with it. And then the way we see the repercussions of his actions and the way everything unfolds, and from the first scene to the last scene, it's like an amazing adventure. And
yeah.
like what
But
Audi was talking about, like I don't think Light is not the protagonist, of course. He's an
He's
antagonist.
not. Yeah.
He does good and bad. He kills people, which is still wrong.
Hmm.
People deserve justice. Some people don't, but most people do. And I think L, like most people who watch Death Note, I think were pulled towards L and were supporting L and waiting for L. You know the particular scene with L, which
yeah,
hurt everyone. Everyone cried for a while.
yeah. Let's not talk
Yeah.
about that.
So that hurt people more than when major spoils when Death Note ended and you see Light's last scene.
Yeah,
That wasn't more of like an emotional scene. That was more like a this is how it ends, or finally it's come to an end. It was something like that.
yeah. But
But
what do you say is what made you like it?
so what made me like it is they showed the what I said in the beginning. They showed a small story, and like if you get a chance to play God and you overdo it, and it shows that journey of how it ends. I like that aspect of it,
Uh,
because playing God is something I guess all humans dream of doing one
yeah,
day.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite part of why I like it is to quote Audi, the story.
Hmm.
Anyway, the story. Let's talk about the story. Who wants to start, Audi? What do you remember of the story? Let's start with you.
As far as the story goes, Yagami Light finds a Death Note.
You don't have to tell us the story. We know the story. What do you think of the story? Is the question.
I well to say it, I think it was pretty. Hold on. Sorry, can you pause for 1 second?
No.
We got to keep this in the edit. Awkward silences. Weeb 101.
Dead air.
Ah,
What
I
do you
don't
like
know.
about the story? Tell us what do you remember. What do you remember about the story?
I know they like every time this thing the Yagami Light tries to. It's basically a game of cat and mouse between L and Yagami Light right through the whole show. And what I liked about it was how Yagami Light would think about his moves 10 times before and try to outwit this one dude he's never ever seen in his life, and he probably never might. And he tries to keep that mentality going through and through. And it's every single time he tries to do something, L manages to go 15 steps ahead, and he tries to just keep building upon it. And it's that continuous build up that I liked about the story.
Also,
Uh,
Audi, might I just ask you one question? You
Mm.
say L, but then you say Yagami Light every single time. Why do you keep saying Yagami Light? Why not just Light?
yeah.
I don't think people are going to confuse him with some other light in the show, you know.
I don't know. I just say Yakami like just like that.
That's like me telling your whole name every time I talk to you.
Yeah, but then fucking hell, I don't know. I
God
just
damn it,
ended
the
up saying the
language.
Ah,
Dumb. Never mind. Anyway,
Don't call him Kira.
yeah,
Say the
Kira.
story. What do you think?
The If you're asking about the story, like the parts I like most about the story, right? What I enjoyed the most was, they showing how smart Light is and these different ideas he comes up with. Like, do you remember how he creates the drawer to hide
Yeah,
his death
yeah,
note
of
and it
course.
burns? That was genius. When they showed the breakdown, we were like mind blown at that. You're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, this is crazy. And we need to talk about the chip scene. Come on, that was
We
legendary.
have time for. I think there's got to be a lot to talk about the chip scene.
Okay, but yeah,
But
I'm
yeah,
just
the
gonna
chip
mention
scene is
the
very
chip scene.
important. I agree.
Holy shit, that blew my mind. Like, no one could have thought of a solution. It was like GG over there, when he
Yeah,
figured out, like, oh shit, I can't ever do this again.
yeah. I mean, that scene definitely just left an impression in your mind.
I think those moments that make you go, holy shit, I could have never predicted this or imagined this. I think those are the amazing parts of the story.
That's good. Okay, I'm going to tell you what my opinion is, but first, I'm going to tell everybody that this is going to contain major spoilers and a lot of theory crafting after this, and both of them are going to start shouting at me real soon, maybe. So, let me give my hot take on the story.
Okay,
Light's victory over L was a big fluke.
okay,
L
interesting.
Mm.
L did not have all the information in the game presented to him. That is the
Of
only
course.
reason Light won. If L had all the information, if he had the ability to at least see the proper Death Note once, Death Note would have ended with Light getting caught by L.
Yeah.
Damn, you agree? I thought this was a very
No,
unpopular
the
opinion.
thing is, but L in this situation, L wouldn't have all the information, so it's not fair for him because
I'm saying the story did him wrong. Like he
the story
didn't.
did go wrong. I think the problem was Light meeting Lisa.
Yeah, that was. But then I'm saying if L had the because L doubted the fake rules that Kira put in the Death Note anyway.
Hmm.
If he had one bit of confirmation of anything, about the existence of the Shinigami from beforehand, or about the existence of the Death Note, or the rules
Yeah,
of the Death Note, if he had even one bit of information, he would have won immediately. It was
but
all a fluke that Kira managed
no,
to outwit him.
but isn't it his fault that he didn't have that information,
How's
so
it
he
his
couldn't
fault?
see
It was literally a notebook falling out of the sky onto the
How
ground.
can you expect someone to know everything about that
Yeah, but that's
coding
what
source
I'm just
that he
saying.
could know?
Like,
No, dude, it makes sense. Like a random guy can't know about a notebook he's never heard of or seen.
Yeah.
Can't
yeah.
just
See,
and
but
even being a genius like Ellis, he still found out so much till the end. He
yeah,
exactly
and
knew
I'll
what it
also
was.
say this: Light became cocky and he gave away so many clues, and in the end, revealed the Death Note to L anyway. If he was actually as smart as he claimed, that should have never happened. He should have kept
Yeah,
its
but that's
existence
during
hidden.
Light's downfall. That's when he went too high
Yeah,
and forgot.
that. So that's what I'm saying. He was not as smart as everyone thought. Light was not as
That's
smart
why
as
his
L. L could
powers
have beaten
consumed
him.
him in the end.
L could have beaten him easily. It was all a fluke. It just so happened that the note fell there and he hid it as to the best of his abilities, which weren't that great. Okay, massive L fanboy here. I'm just gonna say,
I know. I know you didn't like the mellow and near part as
yeah.
much. Dark. I understand that.
But no,
But
my point is L.
L's death was an important moment too.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying he knew. He just needed a little bit of information.
Yeah.
He figured everything out on his own. So he did real good. I'm proud of my boy.
We still don't know his real name, right?
Nah.
No,
Huh.
but they did him dirty, and it's not cool. I don't like this.
Was
Just
there
like Mioba,
was there nothing given by
the
the
writer.
author?
Huh?
Not no nothing nothing about L was revealed except his childhood in a later.
Yeah. It's like the author, like the no one like Oba is just his pen name, right? No one knows his real name or identity
Yeah.
or anything.
Ah,
Keeps it a secret. People
Okay.
nah.
think he's this guy called Hiroshi Gamo, by the way, because if you all have read Bakuman,
Yeah,
Apparently, the life of the mangaka, like the characters he discussed in Bakuman, the one hit wonder who worked on a gag superhero manga.
yeah.
Apparently, it's very similar to Gamo's story. He had a manga called Totemo Lucky Man, which was his gag manga that became
Oh,
popular. So people are guessing it's him, but no one has any idea.
yeah. You don't. I don't think there's any confirmation.
Because even
Mis-
because even Obata did meet him, right? The
Yeah,
artist.
yeah. They both met because of Jump, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. Yeah, they met. It's just pretty interesting. The editor had to like
Set up the
basically, yeah,
contact
set
between.
up the thing.
Okay, hold on, wait. Before we get ahead of ourselves, characters. Who's your favorite character? I think it's pretty obvious who my favorite character is, but you guys go. Why? Who's your favorite character and why?
Ryuk.
Ryuk. He just
Copy me.
I was gonna say Ryuk as well, but then he's just like this cool character that is just hanging around. Just he has the power of death right beside him, but he chooses not to use it.
He can't use it technically.
Yeah, he technically,
I
huh?
like Ryuk because he's playing around with humans. He's like we're toys to him. He's just mad.
Yeah,
He's so bored in life. He's like, I'm just gonna go mess with like play around with some humans living their life. I don't care what happens. Just have some fun for my own
Oh, for
entertainment.
all the great he did, he still has Apple withdrawal symptoms. I mean, come on. Of all things to get addicted to. Does Ryuk not realize that there's so many other foods in the human world that he can eat other than bloody apples?
But apple is the forbidden fruit. Hey.
Oh my god. So Kira should be the one eating it, not Ryuk himself, you know.
It's reverse, dude. Kira is the devil who gives it to Ryuk.
But then Ryuk isn't playing around with humans as you claim then. But Audi, so you
but wait, you said Ryuk can't use his technically couldn't use his powers. How come? I thought he had a second Death Note that he could write in.
yeah, but that's only like Shinigami are just kill people according to. I actually don't know. Do they kill them on just a whim or is it based
They
on
killed them on just a whim because I read the pilot episode and I think I read a bit after that and they said that Shinigami can just kill off people for fun. They
I
can
don't
just
I don't think
they were
they're
just
allowed to kill for fun though.
no they just describe themselves as whiling away life in the over underworld, just gambling and sitting and doing nothing, and they just write even if they write like five names in the book,
Yeah,
people will
they
mock
write
them.
names to elongate
Even
their
if you
own
see,
life.
yeah,
Uh,
even if you don't see like Shinigami, them like Shinigami are like death gods basically in any culture or
Yeah.
mythology.
mm.
Death gods don't kill people for fun.
Yeah, they come to you when your death is
And
imminent.
yeah, and if you see Misa and like if you see her, she had death. They had death timers.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the death timers means you can't just kill people for fun.
mm.
Your time comes.
But
I
yeah,
know, but kind of that's isn't that the point of the Death Note to kind of supersede that timer and just
Yeah, that
strike them
because
out.
it's his tool. It's basically the
Mm.
Shinigami's tool.
yeah, but if he does it for light by
Yeah.
mistake, also he dies. So,
Mm. Ah,
but yeah, come on, you gotta give me more than just he's playing around with humans and you already saying he's a god of death. Yes, we know he's a god of death, but why do you like him? There's so many Shinigami shown in Death Note. Why do you like Ryuk?
eh, he's just aloof. He just doesn't. He just couldn't care less about the whole situation. Like there's this whole situation boiling down between Kira and L,
Thank you.
and he just decides to not do anything about it. Like he has all the power, he can just end it right there, but he chooses to see it through to the bitter end. And there is obviously Rem as well that they show who follows. Uh, shit, I forgot the girl's name. Misa, yeah, she follows around Misa, and even though she also has the same ability as Ryuk, she still ends up being this caring character for Misa, and that kind of beat the whole purpose of the godlike status that the Shinigami had, and Ryuk held on to that. So that's kind of why I liked him.
So basically, you just didn't like that Rem was attached to Misa and
I
Ryuk
suppose
wasn't
so.
attached.
I suppose if Rem also shared the same mentality that Ryuk had, then it would have led to a more interesting interaction between, Light and Ryuk. Light and Ryuk, yeah.
Ryuk, the thing is, Ryuk cannot lose in this. Ryuk never loses. He's always
Mm.
winning.
I would say there was a part where Ryuk was losing. If you remember the time where Light basically removes the Death Note from him, removes his memories of the Death Note, and he asks Ryuk to give the Death Note to the guy in the company. Should I forgot the company's name?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
God, what is the God? I mean, I really can't remember. I think no, I don't remember. Yotsuba.
Yotsuba.
Yeah,
Yeah, Yotsuba.
Yotsuba.
Yeah, I
Yeah, so that guy was really boring Ryuk because Ryuk was like, I guess I have to do this because he has the Death Note, but I don't really want to. He's like, man, why won't Light start killing people again? That was fun. These guys are just
yeah.
killing people for their own profit. I think that time Ryuk was really, really bored.
But he was just annoyed. He wasn't like, "Oh no, it's done."
He was just like, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they showed only a little. They didn't show too much of him in this thing, but I'm pretty sure he was really happy to get back to Light, and he was really bored at that. Like, imagine you're sitting with the smartest man in the world potentially, even though that's L and not Light.
Yeah,
You're sitting with the second smartest man on earth, and you suddenly go to a dumbass who just wants to use you to increase his revenue. You're going to get bored. You're 100% going to
Yeah.
get bored, especially if
but
you're
then
Ryuk.
you can also be outsmarted by the smartest man on earth, which is what
Yeah,
Light almost did to him. Yeah,
yeah.
Mm.
But
because
yeah,
Light knew he was gonna die in the end.
yeah. So, but just saying, Greek must have gotten bored. But yeah, Greek is a good character.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people like Misa, but I don't understand why.
I don't know. I don't understand why people like
Yeah,
Misa.
I'm not a big Misa fan.
She was just annoying.
Yeah, she was. I think she was very much annoying.
She was too
She,
thirsty.
Yeah, very thirsty.
because other people just see her as waifu material.
I
Hmm.
don't know. Well,
Elle is waifu, dude. What are you saying?
Huh?
yeah, that's true. L is waifu,
Uh,
but I don't know. Misa just felt weird, man. There was
Yeah,
just something off about the character. I can't really put my finger on it. But then a lot of people probably like her because like big titty got GF or something,
of course.
yeah.
and she's like
Popular
a
opinion. Yep.
yeah, and she's like really famous
Hmm.
for her looks and for her voice. So I don't know. People weebs probably love them, not us
Yep.
weebs, but those weebs.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Anyway, do you guys think now? This might get confusing for those who are listening to this, but do you guys think there are any plot loopholes in Death Note?
Hmm. I don't. I don't think. From what I remember, I don't think there are any plot loopholes
Is
in
there
it.
anything that made you think, huh? Is that really how it works?
The thing is, like, after L died and Nier and Mello came in,
Yeah,
like the thing they did, like, because when L, like, when you see him investigate and figure out clues and all, it actually looks like he's doing it.
yeah.
But to an extent, I think when the way Mello and Nier were doing it, it almost felt supernatural to me. I would say,
Yeah, I would agree with the especially the ending because Nier switches out the notebook
yeah,
unknown to anybody, even though there was no indication of him having a notebook in in the safe, and
exactly.
that felt a little weird. Even I didn't like that part, but it's not really a loophole, is it? I don't think there are any
Yeah,
plot loopholes.
yeah. There are plot loopholes. There's just yeah, it's just that part. I think that's where Death Note became a little strange. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really complex story which somehow makes sense when you see it overall, mixing
Hmm.
everything in.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, but
I,
after,
I don't think there are any plot loopholes as such. But then, for a guy who really likes to think really far ahead into the future, how come it didn't strike to him that a god of death might have access to the tool that shows the death timer and the name of the person above their heads?
what?
What?
Can't people with Death Note kind of give away half their life so
Yeah,
that they get the Shinigami powers, the
yeah,
Shinigami eyes? Yeah. So then, how come Kira didn't ask for that kind of a power from?
because he didn't want to give away half his. They addressed this in the show. Wow, Audi
But
has
then,
forgotten a lot.
don't they address this like way later on into the show?
No, not really. They say it very early on, and he keeps saying he doesn't want. Ryuk asks him multiple times, and
Oh,
he tells him no each time because he doesn't want to
That's why.
reduce his
mm,
lifespan.
That's why Light has to use Misana
Yeah.
because of her power. Yeah.
mm.
In fact, Light says that he might as well live twice as long and kill more people and set order to the world than sit with half a lifespan just to see people's names. Even
Hmm.
though, like, the thing is, even if he had gotten it just to kill L, first it wouldn't have been worth it, and second, L made sure that if any time he randomly died, all doubts would go towards Light being Kira,
Hmm.
because he set everything up so much in advance that literally every other week he was like, okay, if this happens tomorrow, Light is Kira, and Light is sitting there like, foiled again. What do I do? There's no way for him to do anything, because
Yeah.
Light L literally tells the entire crew that, yeah, okay, if this happens, that boy right there, that's Kira, and Light is like, what, me? And inside he's like, damn it, again, not again. So it's just, I don't see a point in him giving up his eyes. Although, do you guys know of this fan-made concept of what happens after Death Note ends?
After that.
I
Yeah,
I
have you
think you
read
told
it?
me a
Yeah,
long
I've
time
told
ago,
you
but
about it. So,
yeah.
okay, I'll tell you as, or I'll tell you as well. Basically, a
Hmm.
fan made this, and uh, so Light is now in the Shinigami world, okay, and
Hmm.
he looks around. He's like, "Hey, Ryuk, what's going on?" And Ryuk's like, "I told you that people use the Death Note don't go to heaven or earth; they go into nothingness. And this is where you are. This is going to be your life from now." And
Damn.
Light gets overjoyed because he thinks he's going to be a Shinigami, and he's like, Ryuk, if I become a Shinigami, I can do so much with the world. And Ryuk says, Light, you got it wrong. And then suddenly a truck comes and hits Light. Okay,
Hmm.
and then after that he gets up and he's like, what the hell was that? That really hurt. And then suddenly he gets a heart attack and dies.
Oh,
And then Ryuk says only the old man can use somebody's note, so use his notebook to make somebody else suffer the same pain again and again. And
damn.
Wow.
basically, what happens is the Shinigami Lord, the king, whoever,
Hmm.
he makes Light die in every way that Light used the notebook to make others die.
Wait,
Holy shit.
wait. Every way once or every single
So for
time.
each time Light kills someone, he dies once the exact same way.
So he has like an endless heart attack.
Yeah, basically he keeps getting heart attacks. He
Oh
goes
my
crazy and has to, like, so he makes people draw things out in their own blood. He makes
god
people
damn.
kill themselves. He makes people do all kinds of stuff. So everything has to happen to Light again. But the weird part is Light, after his third death, smiles, and Ryuk is like, Light, excuse me, are you retarded? What's going on? And Light is like, Ryuk, once this is done, it's time to start a whole new chapter, and then that ends. So
Oh
he basically tries to capture the Shinigami world after that. That is, like, I
damn.
found that it was fan made. It's not canon, but I thought that was a
Yeah.
really good way to take it. But then again, the open endedness of it, what happens to Light's soul, I guess, is something
Yeah.
which we can think about as much as we want. But yeah, anyway,
It,
What do you think? Like he's in like a limbo of sorts.
yeah, it's
He
supposed to
just
be in limbo. That is the rule of the Death Note. One of the rules
uh,
saying that you don't go to heaven or hell, but we
yeah.
don't know where that is really, since we
hmm.
don't know what kind of heaven or hell is there.
Hmm.
But
Basically,
that's a interesting theory.
the Shinigami world might as well be hell for some people, or even the Shinigami themselves, because what the hell are they doing there really? They're just wasting away. But I don't
Hmm.
know what hell is in the Death Note world. Also, if you remember, Light's dad gets the Shinigami eyes,
Hmm.
and Light has to do some clever maneuvers to make sure that his dad doesn't see him as a Death Note user.
Oh yeah.
So in the end, right before he dies, Light's dad is like, I can see your death timer above your head. You are not Kira. Thank God, I'm so happy." And then after his dad dies, he's like, "Well, I'm sorry, Dad, but I had to do it just to make you confirm that I wasn't Kira." So he doesn't, that seeing his dad take the eyes and then die so quickly after must have made him not want the eyes. Sorry, it
Yeah.
was like I went back to that old point, but yeah. Anyway, songs, boys, songs. The
My God.
world,
Hey, the world, dude. I never skipped
the
that.
world. Yeah, and it's on my playlist. It's the same as Sparkle. It's the same as all the Kimi no Nawa songs we talked about last time. It's been on my
Yeah.
playlist for years.
Burnout syndrome songs.
Yeah, basically, this is what started all the other ones. Like Death
yeah.
Note, I watched Death Note, I heard the songs, and I was like, damn, I need to listen to more of this stuff. And it's
Your
not,
world.
yeah, it's not only about the world opening, it's not only about the ending, it's about all the music that they have in between. L's theme, Light's theme, unbeatable. Near's theme and Melo's theme are not that great. You can quote me on that. I will fight
Dude,
you to the death for it.
I don't even care about Melo's theme or like Near's theme.
Yeah.
I like L's theme. L's theme is what you listen to. There are two things: you listen to the world and you listen to L's theme,
And
and
Light's
that's
theme. I
very
think Light's theme is really good.
nice. But come on, L's theme, you
L's
can't
theme,
beat it.
yeah. Light's theme actually helps me write a lot of the time. Like I play Light's theme and I'm just typing out some evil script and then I throw it away because I don't actually go shoot it. But it still helps me write it. Audi, what about you? What do you like?
I just like the openings that much. I can't recall what is L's theme or Light's theme that well. But yeah, the music for the openings are pretty good, and I don't skip them like I did the past animes as well.
Okay, to everybody who's listening, you cannot see the look of disappointment on my face or Sid's face, but it's there.
He's saying a lot of sacrilegious things right now.
Yes. Audi, you need to go listen to the songs right
Yeah,
away
Hmm.
and all the themes
yeah, right away.
immediately after this podcast. But till
Hmm.
then, we shall continue embarrassing you like this. Anyway, it's time for our weekly Sid monologue. Dun.
Oh
Sid
my god.
animation. Go ahead.
See, I read the so there's not a lot to talk about. Like the animation is like if you see the animation, it's like it's good animation. I think it was the anime was
Sid has
directed
spoken.
by Araki Tetsuro, who's a director for a lot of good series now that people might have seen. Like he's a
Right?
director for Attack on Titan, which is legendary. People love it right now.
Of
He's
course.
a director for Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress, which is also pretty good. And he also directed
Totally.
Black Lagoon, which I
Oh,
think I've seen thousands of times, but he's never seen it.
I have. I have seen it. Do not believe this propaganda.
And also he directed High School of the Dead.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't want to see that.
So, but he's a pretty good animation director. He's done some good stuff, and I think Death Note is one of his best works. I don't think I think for Death Note, when I saw it, I don't think I was more invested in the story than the animation
That's true.
because it was translated so well. Even though the animation, I would say it was good like Japanese like series animation. I would say it had its good and bad parts, but overall I think the drawing and the characters were drawn out pretty well. They didn't have any like major fuck ups like Dragon Ball Z Super and all these shows
Yeah.
do nowadays. So the characters look like characters in every scene. It was well done. That's all I would say. It was
I
pretty
don't
well.
know much about animation technicalities, but the one thing I know for sure here is that Death Note had a very satisfying manga to anime conversion.
It did,
It
yeah.
was
But
very
I
satisfying.
still think the manga is legendary. Like
Yeah, yeah, manga is better because the
manga
pace is better. The
drawings are
way they do, yeah,
mind blowing.
yeah, they're really amazing. But it was a very satisfying thing to read the manga and then watch the series. And also the weird the weird light eyes when he's hugging Misa, the weird evil
Oh,
rapist
the
kind of eyes.
rare, yeah,
Yeah, I think that was done beautifully. Like he literally looked like a madman at that time, who might actually do some terrible shit aside from just normal killing people.
yeah.
So I think
You
the
talk about it like expressions and all when he becomes evil, the way he
yeah,
laughs and the way he smiles, it's like crazy. Yeah, that's very
yeah,
well illustrated. But I think that also comes from the manga, right? Because I read the
yeah.
manga
Of
after I
course,
saw the anime, and I found it much better. Like I was mind blown by the manga also
yeah, yeah, of
because each
course.
panel it looks so beautiful. And you guys must have seen the video, right, of him of when he
Drawing the
shows
whole,
the
yeah,
original manga
yeah,
pages
yeah,
from
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It looked like a piece of art, dude. I would frame that in my
Yep.
room.
Same for One Piece, but
Mm,
also the way Light moves and the way he has his quirks in the anime were done. I think they were done well because when you read the manga and you see Light, you don't see that fluidity in the way he walks or the way he's. I think it was done really well because he walks differently, he sits differently, the way he sits down before actually when he's about to sit down, when he's eating his food and licking his fingers and all that. They did that very well, I think.
did very well. And also like some scenes like we're talking about the drawer and the chip scene. I think the
Oh yeah,
anime shows that scene in a crazy way.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think nothing beats that.
I mean, I never thought I'd be in awe of somebody saying I'm going to take this chip and eat it.
I know, right? We are all sitting biting our nails like, holy shit, we're eating that chip.
I think you just look at the scene and you get chills instantly.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think that's more of like visuals than just animation. So, one second. Ma, thank you. Yeah, I think it's just visuals than just animation because a lot of these things we're talking about are just stills. They're just like frames which we really appreciate rather than the whole animation itself, right? Like even.
It's the whole animation because even when they're showing the room, like the camera pans around the
Mhm.
whole room, showing these different cameras, and it zooms into his hand, like going
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
and like
yeah,
so crazy pan. And even for the drawer, they show these like breakdowns and blueprints, and
yeah,
I think they've done it a way. The camera movements are really good. Even like for you saying when he writes and his 10 floors off,
yeah, yeah.
and all the building views and city views where they zoom in, they sort of bird's eye view and
Yeah.
everything, and they show
I mean the like the
they've
he's
done the
he's writing and the camera just moves along the pen like this and then that's just,
it's
yeah.
very dynamic camera work, yeah. And also during moments of when they're showing like unrest or bad things happening, like in the first scene when he shows the girl getting abused at the shop,
Yeah.
you know, those scenes the camera is still,
Yeah, it makes you feel very
exactly.
uneasy.
So I think the director's done a pretty good job with the camera work also.
No, but I'd say like there are also panels which have become not really animated shots, but for example, when I forgot her name, like I have forgotten a lot of people's names.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Who's the
But who?
who's the wife of the special agent that Kira kills?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
kills he kills someone in
Because
the.
she was too smart, right?
Yeah, she was
Naomi.
too smart. Yeah,
Naomi.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Naomi. Yeah. So when he writes her name in the death, first of all, she tricks the hell out of him, and that's beautiful to watch.
she was crazy. Yeah,
He's
you're right.
badass.
Hmm.
And then when he finally gets her name and he makes her go to hide her body and kill herself somewhere where the body won't be found, like her walking towards the staircase with the noose. That wasn't a good animated scene because she was just walking slowly, but it was such a good visual overall. It was amazing.
No, I think that's where manga beats anime because
One second,
because
huh?
when you
Yeah. Sorry.
I think that's where manga beats anime. Because when you're watching anime and you see her like walking, you're still following the scene. She's slowly going to the news. But
Yeah.
when you're reading the manga, it's just the image. You see this, you
Yeah.
see
In
her,
fact, yeah.
and then your head just fills it up.
Yeah.
So I think that's more of an impact if we suddenly see that image than if you're being led into it with animation, time based. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. The manga really, and it makes you focus on all the right things and just gets crazy.
Yeah. I would also say like similarly, like major spoiler. I would like to explain this scene in another way. Like you remember Promise Neverland, right?
Are we really going to talk about that?
I just want to talk about the end of the first chapter. Major spoilers.
Yeah.
So in the end, when they discover like
Wait,
the
Audi
jail.
hasn't read Promise Neverland. We can't
Oh
spoil it
shit!
for Audi.
Ah,
Oh shit!
yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean. The last scene of the
Yes, I know
first
the
chapter.
last scene. Yes, I know exactly what you
You
mean.
see that in the anime. If you see it in the manga, you just see them going there, and suddenly the next panel they
Yeah,
shock
yeah.
you, and your characters are like, "Holy shit!" But in the anime, they slowly lead up to it, so the impact isn't as much.
Really, they don't just snap it in
No,
the
they
anime.
slowly lead up to it and they're walking and they see it. So we don't get that shock value, It's like you're expecting it.
Huh.
So similarly, I would say that's where like manga beats anime. At least till now. Maybe there are series who have done it better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know a lot of examples where I would rather watch the anime than read the
Hmm.
manga. Well,
But
hey, wait, Audi has been
Didn't
quiet
you
for way
say
too long.
that
Audi, say something
you
this
didn't
time.
like? Didn't you say that you like the anime more than the manga itself
No,
for both Death Note and Haikyuu?
no. Haikyuu, yes, Haikyuu. I do like the anime more than the manga, but Death Note is there. I don't know. I like.
Because I recall this, like I think you've said before that every time you've watched or read something, you'd prefer you had read it rather than watched it. But then, if it was Death Note or Haikyuu, then watching it was a much better experience for you than it
No,
was.
I always like reading Death Note. The pace is much better in the
Huh.
manga
Yeah.
than the anime.
No, but there are some anime that that you rather like for example like Cowboy Bebop and stuff. You watch that and it's a good
Does
watching
Cowboy Bebop
experience.
have a manga?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
But still, I'm talking about like it's still a legendary anime. And talking about like animes that don't have mangas, like this thing, the Araki, the director, he
Yeah.
also directed Guilty Crown.
Oh, oh, oh.
Huh?
Guilty
Just
Crown
remember,
was good.
yeah. We'll do a series. We'll do a this on that once Audi watches it. We'll do an episode.
Ah, the- I think I'll have to rewatch Guilty Crown though. It's been way too long. I still
Yeah,
remember most of the story, but
it had a weird and not so great ending, but
eh,
it was,
I'm used to it in anime. It's just sad, but I'm used to it.
but not that. No, and that
Yeah,
not let us down after L's
yeah.
death, but still,
Death Note still had a very satisfying ending.
exactly, yeah.
It was very well done. In fact, I believe I like the manga ending and the anime ending are slightly different, and I like the manga ending more. Just also have you? I'm assuming Sid, you've read it. Have you read the chapter that came out after the ending of Death Note?
Oh, I don't. I think I read it, but I have no. I don't remember. But I remember I read it. Yes.
Yeah, Audi. So one of there's one chapter after the end of Death Note. Okay, so the
Huh.
ending is done. Everyone, whoever has to die, is dead, and whoever is alive is alive.
Hmm.
And you think the manga has ended, and they put out one chapter a few weeks, I guess, weeks later. Sorry,
Yeah.
and it is a manga chapter that's revolved around Nier, where someone goes to him and says that there is a new Kira and they are killing people.
Okay.
And Nier takes one look at the situation and says, "I'm not going to do anything about it." And
Right.
he doesn't care. He's like, "I know this is not the real Kira," and everyone's like, "Are you mad? He's still killing people." And on a reality show, these people suddenly start asking Kira to kill them, and Kira starts killing all of them. And Nier comes on live TV and he basically insults the fake Kira, telling
Hmm.
him how he's a useless piece of shit because he's just killing people for fun, and the real Kira had morals which he at least stuck to, and you
Yeah.
aren't even a proper criminal because you're just trying to copy someone and failing at it because you don't understand what they stood for.
God
And,
damn.
and Nier insults him so much and calls him useless and makes him feel so useless that in the end he kills himself.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember this
And
now. Yeah, this was it was an amazing.
yeah, and the last panel is of this Shinigami who was with the new Kira going
Yeah.
to Ryuk and saying, "You said humans were interesting. This one was real boring. He killed a bunch of people, then wrote his own name on the notebook and died." And Ryuk is like, "Did you get my apples?" And he's like, "Yes, here, take your apple."
Oh my god.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
I don't think I've ever seen a case of someone being insulted to death.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was nice. That note was. I think it was. There were a lot of. Do you all remember? I remembered about the Death Eraser that was there in the
Yeah, of course.
pilot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wait, how do you knew that?
I read the pilot.
Wow.
Ah, surprising, guys.
Took that out.
This is a hot tip. Every time there's a manga, you read the pilot chapter. It's completely different from what actual real chapter, and it's beautiful. You get to see what they made before the editor stepped in,
There are
and it's
lots of
beautiful.
ideas that I
Uh,
think before there are other things like apparently Melo and Nier were going to be like L's children,
Yeah,
but apparently the thought of L having sex with a woman just like disgusted Oba, and he was like, nope, no.
yeah,
But still,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
But
but
So there is a lot of. Oh, by the way, did you all know this? Death
yes,
Note is banned in China. It was banned in China.
Death
huh?
Note is banned in China.
Yeah, it was banned because in some places students started bringing Death Notes to school
Oh
over
my
there.
Wow.
god.
And how they are about skulls and death and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
So it was actually banned and almost banned in the US and some place in Russia also
yeah, makes
because
sense.
of the same reason. Students are bringing Death Note to school and writing names and shit.
Well,
But
Audie, did you know One Piece has two pilot chapters? One which was made by Oda, then one which was made after an editor talked to him, and then they finally made the first chapter for showing Shanks's hand, the one where he gets his hand
mhm.
beaten up.
I didn't know
So
about the
mm,
second one.
Originally, Nami was supposed to be this. So the character for Nami had been decided before One Piece even started,
Huh.
and Nami was supposed to be this person that Luffy meets while he was. So basically, what happens is in one chapter, Nami's town is attacked by pirates,
Hmm.
and Luffy is this guy who helps people be safe from pirates. He basically hunts down pirates. It's a specific kind of pirate. Some I forgot what it was called, but basically he's a good pirate.
Oh
And
wait, I remember this. There I think there were these clips on YouTube of showing Luffy in a more good light, sort of.
no, it was never animated. It was just the manga.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I saw clips of him fighting off pirates for the good of a town, and nothing else.
He does that in
Was he
One
supposed to
Piece.
be like a marine or something?
No,
In
not
the
not a marine, but he was supposed to be a. I forgot what it was called, but basically he saves Nami's town, and another one Nami has a little pet, and they both get captured, and Luffy saves her from other pirates.
oh,
So Nami was like supposed to be the first character, but then they changed it up and made Zoro the first one after they talked about it. Anyway, we're getting off track. Recommendations for people who like Death Note and want to see something else. I say Bakuman.
1 second. Before this, I want to mention something I found out today, which is very interesting.
What?
Have you guys heard of the manga killer?
The manga
Or the manga?
killer, or
Yeah,
do you mean manga killer like person who kills manga, or the manga called killer?
that this manga. It's a serial killer who was called the manga killer. It's a
Holy
Belgian
shit!
serial
oh wow.
What?
but manga killer who used to kill people and leave strips of paper with the phrase "I am Kira" near their bodies.
God damn.
What?
Yeah,
Is
Damn.
I
that a
think
real one?
I knew this manga was influential, but this influential that it spawned out. And I
easy. I found out and I was like, "Holy shit!" I think they got
huh?
caught and they went to prison
Oh yeah,
in like.
looks like it.
But can you imagine? This is what Death Note made someone do.
Wait, didn't you say? I think when was it that Death Note ended again?
I have no idea. A long time ago.
Well, I think we were having this conversation, and one of you said that when
I
Death
think
Note did end,
2006.
2006. Okay, then one of you said that when Death Note ended, that people gathered up on Tokyo Square. Was it? And they started crying out, or was it on L's?
I don't know about that.
L's death when L
L's
died.
death, yeah.
Spoilers. Uh, yeah, when L died, Japan went out and held up candles for him. They had a proper
Yeah.
march out for the death of the character. Apparently, the way L died, so L is considered like a Japanese Sherlock Holmes because he's a very integral part of their culture right now because of how famous Death Note became.
Hmm.
So apparently, when Sherlock Holmes was killed off, I don't think I have to say spoilers for this, but if you don't know, you should really go read that up. Yeah, when Sherlock Holmes fell down with Moriarty in the
Yeah.
waterfall, that time apparently people went on protests in London, in Britain, to show their displeasure of having him killed off, and that's why he was brought back later on. So it was similar. Apparently, people went to protest the death of L, but then he obviously never came back.
Hmm.
Ah,
But yeah,
Yeah, it was.
it spawns of crowds of mourners, and it spawns a full
Yeah,
blown killer.
that thing is top 5 anime emotional moments for sure.
yeah. Also, I would like to say Death Note is supposedly the only manga that intentionally competed with One Piece and won briefly, temporarily, but still won.
Hmm. I
They
think
they
there was
managed to
one.
go past it managed to
Yeah,
go past One Piece's sales and became the top manga for the week or the month. But it wasn't long lived. One Piece was just too strong at the end, but well, they
but
managed
Death
to
Note.
do it. I think that's a very important point to note.
Yeah, even people who are not Weebs, they know Death Note. Like it's
Hello,
literally
you
like
guys there?
Yeah.
introduction,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, entry into the world of anime
Anyway,
and
yeah,
manga.
recommendations.
Uh,
Drew, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah. Said recommendations for manga that is similar. I say
so
Bakuman is a must read for anybody who's read Death Note.
I agree. Bakuman is important because you should see what else the authors have made. But I would say if you want that like mystery brain thing. Like you can read like Liar's Game.
Oh yeah,
It's not
Liar's Game was pretty cool.
Bloody Monday
I haven't read that.
and Osama Game.
Osama Game is, yeah, I would
Yeah,
also recommend Osama Game. It's
I think you
it's
should
a
read those.
little of the supernatural, but it's fine.
Yeah, but I think if you like this mystery figuring out all, it's not as good as Death Note obviously, but I think it's within the genre. So you could read these. They're pretty interesting manga.
Yeah, I would like to say that even though I like Bakuman, I don't think it's as good as Death Note.
Yeah, Bakuman is amazing. It was an adventure of its own. We
Yeah,
should do an episode soon.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Death Note is next level. Yeah, nothing competes.
yeah. So even the manga we said to uh, in our opinion isn't as good as Death Note.
Mm.
But yeah, with these are things that you can go for. Also,
Yeah.
Liar's Game, and Osama. Sorry, what is it? I forgot what it's called.
What?
Liar's
Osama
Game,
game.
Osama Game. Yeah, both of them had like mediocre endings again.
Mm.
But yeah,
And
anyway,
even one day was like, okay, it's about a virus that can like destroy the world
yeah,
basically. Very interesting. But yeah, it's the same
concept of
like
it.
psychological type of manga. I would say.
Okay, now before we go,
Hmm.
what is your favorite scene of Death Note?
You know what I'm gonna say? The
Say it.
chips.
Yes, this is your chance to talk about it. I realized I said we will talk about it and then we never did, so let's talk about it.
We never did. I think the chip scene is like most the most genius scene in Death Note. I would say it's so because in that moment when light figures out what and when we are watching and we figures out like holy shit like he's done like there's no way out for him, right? Like
Yeah.
because you imagine yourself in those situations,
And
right?
you feel boxed in the situation because you're like, how do you escape? There's no way.
Exactly, you're like holy shit, what will we do? I think this is the end, like because you're so invested. And then you see he's just, I'm like, what is he doing? He seems like quite calm for what's
Yeah.
going on. I don't know. And then you see that, like, holy shit, are you shitting me?
Yeah, the chip scene is also so iconic because of the way it's
Mm,
done. And
yeah. What do you think?
Uh, I don't think I can describe it in detail as much as you guys are. I
do you even remember the chip scene?
Not quite now.
Oh, God. Well, this
Just say
episode of Weeb 101 has been a total redundant failure.
Yes.
From next time, we shall whip Audi into shape. Do not worry. We shall make him watch the chip scene right after this episode ends.
Mm.
yeah, and listen to all the Death Note songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, since Audi has no opinions, I think one more thing the chip scene really did was show that Light really understood the way L was thinking, and he was ready to go to any lengths to, seem innocent without having
Yeah,
stopping killing people. Because he even bought the TV, which for me as a kid, right? I mean, now
yeah,
that I think about it, it seems like it's like yeah, whatever. But then when I was a
yeah.
kid, I was like, holy shit, he spent enough money to buy a mini TV, and then he threw it out the next day, and I
And like
I couldn't comprehend it as a child.
it's crazy. And being where we are from, like we never heard of like such small TVs. We
Yeah,
couldn't
that's true.
comprehend.
Yeah,
I didn't even have a phone when I watched it.
yeah, same.
Holy shit! What does exist? I
Yeah, I,
I
I
think
think
that's the same feeling we would get every time we'd watch like a spy movie where they just throw away their burner phones like it was nothing.
basically, but then yeah, I don't know. For as a kid, I saw the TV and I was like, that must have been expensive. I don't have money. How did he afford that?
But even L goes next level with all those cameras. Okay,
Yeah. But
that's too much. That's a very high budget to
no, but the
spy
thing
on
is,
some.
right? You look at L as the top detective in the world, and you're like, "But it makes sense that he has the cameras. Why wouldn't he
Yeah,
have cameras? He's the top detective in the world." But then you look at Light, who's like a student, and you're like, "Damn, I bought a TV. Interesting."
a very oily one at that.
Yeah, and
Later on.
Yeah.
yeah, and it went to the trash.
Hmm.
I mean, it all worked out though. It was a genius move, and it worked out in L's favor. Sorry, Light's
It
favor.
was crazy. Yeah, all the different switcheroos like that they pull off throughout the series is like crazy.
Yeah, I even like the scene where the guy from the Yotsuba group who has the Death Note is caught, and
Hmm.
Light finally touches the Death Note, gets all his memories back, instantly opens his watch and he writes down his name, closes it. I was like, "Pow!" mind blowing.
Yeah,
I remember
that is
seeing that little piece of paper over there, and I was like, "What? Wow, what?" And it was just amazing. Like the whole series is just very memorable.
not ending. I also want to talk about ticks that these guys had, like L sticks. What do you think about his sticks and Near and Mellow sticks?
Yeah, I think elves were like elves made it seem like really quirky, but the near and mellow are just it
But
felt
it was, yeah,
it felt like they'd already based too much on L, and they were like, okay, now let's make these two weird as well,
yeah.
which felt a little forced to me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
I think
people people like
Near
those
was
two.
the hair, right, and Mellow was the chocolate, right?
Yeah, mellow was the chocolate, and near had a lot of things. He also used to play with his hair constantly, right?
Yeah, yeah. And he always used to build something,
Yeah, he
right?
always used to build something.
I think they tried to create like mini elves, I
Yeah,
guess.
Hmm.
And that's why they just added some like quirkiness to them
yeah,
to
but I
show
think it
that
was
oh,
more of them trying to show that individually they couldn't surpass L, but together they were able to do the one thing L couldn't.
uh, did you try to sit like it once he said you can think 40% better? So when you sit like that,
No,
uh-huh. Of course you did it.
why would I
You
do
thought it was
that?
smarter, didn't you?
No,
But
I didn't.
I do
I have no
recall a
idea of
couple of
that.
chairs being broken because someone
Hey,
sat
hey,
next to me.
Audi,
Hey,
shut
no
up.
shame in it.
Okay, if we are sorry, we have to edit out. We had to edit out the part about Audi was saying some very controversial things with personal information being revealed. So he's been cut out.
Hmm.
yeah.
Anyway, Sid, what's up for next time?
For next episode, since last week we did Kimi no Nawa, next week we're going to do not Makoto Shinkai next film, which is Tenki no Ko or Weathering with You.
Which surprisingly Audi has watched and I have not. So we are going to get on to that, and I'm going to
Yes,
watch it, and we shall talk to you about it next week.
next week we shall talk about Tenki no Ko, and then after that we shall talk about their great next new work Bakuman. That episode is also coming next, so stay tuned.
Oh my God, you just really went ahead with all our schedules of that. But yes,
Yeah.
guys,
Bakuman, Death
weathering
Note,
with
come
you
on.
and Bakuman. Yes, Bakuman is very important. I agree. And that's all for this time. And we shall come to you for with weathering with you for next time. I am Brew.
Yes, I'm Sid.
And I'm Adi.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Sayonara.